Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, you guys.
Welcome back to Real Talk with SLR.
How are you guys doing today?
Well, y'all, how about that insulation condensation situation? How about it?
I was so upset. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you were. You were pretty upset.
I was pretty livid and just beating myself up for it because I should have known better. And it's just weird to me, like, to honestly think about it and everything. It makes sense now, but the way that rock wool is, it breathes and everything else. And I feel like if I keep this inner side heated, that we would just have more moisture on the top side, right? And that would be it. Not like on the inside top side, but I was wrong. I was wrong. It just throws me off because the zip boards are fine.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing that just makes me sit there and scratch my head really good and be like, huh? How's a half-inch piece of board that's a zip board? I mean, it is vapor barrier and all that stuff with it built in, but the top side's 3/4 inch Advantech and it's sealed really good.
Yeah.
So it really makes me sit there and go, huh?
Well, it's science, right? So
it is science.
When heat rises and water expands, we learned our lesson. We should have known. So essentially what was happening, guys, if you guys missed our video, we did post a video yesterday. If you guys have no clue what we're talking about, we posted a video on SimpleLifeReclaimed yesterday where we have to revisit our insulation situation because of condensation. And so what's happening is we installed and we painstakingly did all of the insulation, cut every single piece, and we stuffed it all the way to the very top of the roof ceiling, which is also going to be a floor for the cabin when we build it. And we put it all the way at the top of the joist to where it was touching and hugging the Advantech board. And we did that because we were thinking, okay, we were going to soundproof, and we were thinking this was the best way to go about keeping it warm in here.
And making it to where all the pipes are insulated at that point.
Yes.
And just make it easier for us to do all our work later on. And
yes, having the wires still be exposed and the pipes still be exposed. Because, again, we got to build a whole cabin up there.
Correct.
So that was our thought process. That was really why we did it that way. We didn't see that it was going to be causing any harm. But the harm is coming because we have cold air coming from outside touching the top of that roof. And then it's so warm in here, right? And the warmth is rising up and it's touching that cold and it's making condensation. Didn't really see that happening with wood. Really saw it happening if it was metal or glass or something like that, right? Because that always has the sweating. You could see it with like a soda can in the summertime, etc.
But then again, like I said, it's just so mind-boggling to me because the zip board.
Yeah, the zip board's
It's not
dry.
doing it to that.
Yeah.
But it's doing it to that. It's like, huh?
And it might be because that's flat and the zip board is vertical, so it's not getting as much sunlight for as long a periods of time. I don't really know. I don't understand the science behind it 100%. I just know that it's science.
It's science, that's for sure.
I don't know all about it. I just know that it's science. So in the video that we posted yesterday, we did come up with a solution to fix our problem. And I am happy to report, and we are going to walk you guys around here in this video, but right now we're just trying to have a little coffee and a little chat first. But we will stay tuned in this video. We are going to walk you guys around. But I am happy to report that it is working so far, and we're going to prove it to you.
Yes.
So the whole front area, we have not finished this back portion of the house. So the laundry room, the bathroom, the utility room, and here, which is going to be in the future, our storage pantry, root cellar type of room. But for now, it's our bedroom. This place, we have not brought the insulation down yet. And mostly, that's because yesterday I had to, our kids are home from school. It's the weekend. Our kids are home from school this whole week for Thanksgiving. Brittany and Colin stayed the night. And then yesterday, Gary had to take Uber back to David because David's got a lot of work that he has to do with Uber. So a lot of our day was taken up.
Finish up anything that I needed to do with Uber real quick. And then I load it up and...
and take it back. And so while he was working with Uber and, you know, taking Uber back and everything, I was just kind of hanging out with the kids and doing some domestics and stuff like that. So we did not get around to doing this back area like we had hoped, but that's what today's for. Today we're gonna tackle it some more.
I'm gonna tackle the laundry room, the maintenance room, and the bathroom area,
first.
and then also the hallway right there, just because it's right there. And then I'll come over and do this stairwell, and then I'll come back in here and I'll do this probably.
Yeah, our bedroom is going to be the last area that we do. That's because we're adults, we could deal with the cold, but also because those areas are going to be so much more tedious for Gary to get into because of all the pipes. And each one of those pipes now, again, we're going to walk you around and show you, but each one of those pipes, because we are exposing it to that cold air from the outside, he's had to go and get some of that
I had to
foam.
get insulation, which I also did.
Yeah.
And everything
To
already.
wrap the pipes with, you know. Yep. So.
And then there's some pipes where I was just like, I'm not insulating those because I'm going to have to use the rock wool and splice it to where it's covering the pipe and everything else like that because of where it's at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot of back and forth and trying to finagle myself into this way and that way. And now I get to pull everything out of the maintenance closet again so I can get into that area.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my goodness.
It's very tedious. But you know what? If y'all can take anything from Gary and I, it's this. Life is not easy, okay? There are things that get thrown in you in life that are challenges, and every single person out there is going to face challenges. I guarantee you have faced challenges in life. The thing is how you deal with those challenges and the attitude that you maintain to see yourself through that challenge is really ultimately what's going to help determine your outcome. Now, it's okay to be upset. Gary got upset. I mean,
beating myself up for it and all that stuff is not something that you want to do.
Well, look, that's human nature.
But that's
human nature.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, as long as you can clear that head and stop beating yourself up, and be like, all right, there's a solution for this. We just need to figure it out.
Yep.
What is the solution?
Yeah.
Well, that's ultimately what you got to do. You got to buckle down and be adult about it and figure out what the solution is that you need to do and just do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not rocket science. It's not anything else, even though this is definitely science.
I was going to say, it is science.
But it's not rocket science. There is it is a madness to it.
Insulation science. You just gotta look, you just gotta take it as it comes, guys. You know, we're all thrown challenges, we're all thrown obstacles, and really how you jump over those hurdles and the attitude that you maintain is really what's going to help determine your outcome. Now, Gary and I, we could have faced the situation and been, woe is me, everything is horrible, and had a real stink about us for the next, while. We could have let this really bother us. But that's not how we roll. That's not what we're going to do. And I suggest, if you guys, we make a lot of mistakes, and I'm not sitting here trying to tell people how to live their life, but if you guys can take anything from us, that's the one thing I want you guys to take from us, is roll with the punches, keep a good, happy attitude, be content, be grateful, and look to the positive, and don't stop looking for your solution. Don't give up on yourself and your dream.
Yes.
And this is our dream.
Yes.
And we're doing it ourselves. So we're not going to give up on ourselves or our dream. We're going to keep going forward, and it's going to work out. So there's a lot of you guys in the comment section that have had so much great information and helpful tips, and I want to let you guys in on our side of things, right? So when we read the comment section, I don't want you guys, some people get upset because we don't do exactly what they say, and I want to just kind of bring it to your guys' attention that a lot of times we get conflicting suggestions. This person over here says to do this, and that person over there says to do that. And 20 people over here says that if you do that, then you're an idiot, and no matter what you do, you're an idiot. And then this person over here says if you do that, you're an idiot. And it's our job to kind of decipher what makes sense for us, our family, our build, our finances, what we know to be true with our life experiences, and just make the best educated guess that we can, man. That's all we're trying to do.
Not only that, we're the people on the ground.
Yeah.
we know what is fully going on 100%.
Yeah.
We know the zone that we are in, the climate that we are in, the humidity that we are around and in and feel all the time. So what works for us might not work for you. What
Right.
might work for you doesn't work for us.
Right, because we know that for sure because we took some of the stuff that we were doing in Arizona in a different climate, and we tried to apply those same principles out here, and it was a fail.
It was a fail.
It's been a fail, right? So being new to this climate, we are learning. We're not sitting here
learning a
trying to
lot.
say that we're pros, you know, at all this, because we're not at all.
But I do know that plastic is not good for certain
For
things
wood.
and a lot of things. Like there's like
So
we've
that's-
done a lot of covering with plastic trying to mitigate a lot of weather and tear and whatever it is, and no matter which way we go about it, it always condensates.
Yeah, the top and the bottom layer.
The top and the bottom. So if we plastic anything and it's going to condensate like that, we would run into more of an issue with it.
Yeah.
Whereas house wrap is a vapor barrier, but it's not a house wrap isn't fully plastic. It's breathable. They make it a little breathable that way. If water does get on it, it can dry out.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's airways, and that's the biggest thing that we need to have. And it's where it's the vents and it's everything else. And I didn't want to put the vents in right now,
Yeah.
because one, I'm going out there every night now, closing those vents, and they make automatic ones that close at certain temperatures. But I didn't like the way that they looked or design wise, because water wins all the time, and the way the flange looked and everything else, it looked like water could have a really good escape inside of our cavity up there. So I didn't want any water getting in there, and I said no, I'm going to use this one instead. But once we put up the actual siding and everything else, those other ones will be fine for it. So that's where I'm like, well, I'll just hold off. I bought the cheaper ones to do it now because we need them, and yeah, we're learning a lot.
We're learning
And
a ton.
The paper that we're using, or it's not paper, it's synthetic.
It's kind of like
synthetic,
a paper.
whatever. You know, it's almost like a plastic, but it's not.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of reminds me of the same.
It's like house wrap.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the same backing that's on like fiberglass insulation, because that's like a paper, but you can't really tear it like paper. It has like that coating on it or whatever, and that type of stuff. It feels like the same texture.
Correct.
I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same thing, but I think it's around about
it's
kind of ish.
almost like the stuff that's on the backing of fiberglass is like a tar paper almost. What we are using is like a tar paper, because that's the same thing that you would put underneath shingles.
Yeah.
Which it's the same exact thing. So with it being able to breathe a little bit if it does get wet and everything else like that, it should be fine. And it's not going to be like plastic. I haven't seen any condensation on any of the plastic out there that we've had out. And I'm feeling in between the joists, because now it's on the bottom joist and everything else. And I'm like, I don't want it to, create condensate in between. And it's not. And it makes sense. I mean, Country Road Cure, Anthony and Rocks. Trust me, I was over there when we found us all out, and we were I was smacking my head against the wall, talking to him and trying to figure out. And then it made him sort of, let me look at my roof real quick before I start.
He wanted to make a double check on his roof because he was like, whoa, let me double check.
And his was fine. Like, he had no condensation.
Not a drop.
And he's got metal up there.
Not a drop.
He didn't have
Bone dry.
Bone dry up there.
Yeah.
And then all the wood was bone dry and everything too. And he used fiberglass with the face insulation.
They use a different type, but again,
And that face insulation is keeping that heat separated from both.
It's creating their vapor
It's creating
barrier.
a vapor barrier,
Yeah.
but it's not plastic that's creating the vapor barrier.
Right.
Correct.
Right. And so we're treating our basement more for the time being, because we are living down here. We have to go about doing things a little bit differently, because this is
Correct.
not a typical situation. People Gary said it multiple times. People don't typically move into a basement, especially when there's not a house upstairs already built.
They might move into it when the house is all dried in and everything. It's just like a construction site up there, but
right, and they still have to have the wall finishings, and you still got things going on. Sure. The main reason, as you guys know, that we moved into our basement was because we were living in a 24-foot trailer with no pop-outs, 3 kids, and at that time we had 3 dogs for 18 months. And it was just time, man. Like, our sanity, we really needed this space. Like,
the way I look at it, the reason why people don't do it is for this.
Yeah, because having a flat roof sucks.
Because of this situation right here. Well, no, we're insulating stuff and we're living in it. We're doing, you know, all these little things, you know, and we're living in here and whatnot. And it makes life a little bit trickier, but it's still a lot more comfortable in here than it was in the trailer.
Totally more comfortable, my goodness.
And so, I mean, yes, there's a lot to it, but I will say this, I am happy because I was against this for a long, long time.
I had to convince Gary to, like, let it. I was like, please, baby, please, can we please move into the basement?
I'm happy about it.
And he was, at first, like, you know.
I was holding my ground on it.
Yeah,
I said
he was
no.
like, no.
I said
no.
2 to 3 years to build our house, and I said that we were going to have to be in the trailer for that long. So you got just a little bit longer. We got to steadfast and build it. And then she convinced me, and I said, all right, we're going to have to build that garage then first.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to move into there because if that's the case, it's going to be in that in-between time for winter-wise, and I'm not going to be able to build the house before the deep freeze and everything else.
We made concessions with each other, right? There was compromise between the two of us, but I know that both of us are so much happier that we're in here.
I'm extremely happier that
so much
we're
happier
in here.
that we're in here.
But
and we're going to be really happy when you get your garage too.
Yes, I know.
And then we're going to start building up the cabin upstairs, and this whole condensation situation is not even good. It's going to be a non-issue because, like we were talking about earlier, the reason why it's happening is because the cold air up top is meeting the warm air in here, right? And so it's creating the condensation. Well, if we had a house up there on top, the cold air wouldn't be touching that floor. It would be touching the exterior of the building. And so it would be a non-issue. Luckily, though, let's get them walking around. Let's start showing them what we got going on. We did fix the problem, guys. So far, so good. Now,
so far, so good.
We're not closing it off 100% just yet. We're always going to keep a little manhole where Gary could poke his head up in there and check it periodically.
I'm going to pull out one of these insulation things completely and whatnot, and then I'm going to take that tar paper, I'm going to cover it with a little bit of paper sticking out on the sides or whatever, and I'm just going to staple it to the rock wool. That way I know what piece it is, and then I'll just grab that piece and pull it out, and the whole piece will come out with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
And that way it's just a cubby, and I can go,
yeah.
peek hole in there.
Are you going to put that in the utility room?
I'll put that over in the utility room area. Because I can open up the vents on the side and flash a light in there too. And look diagonal this way. So.
Yeah.
But I'll do that over there in the utility room.
Well, you guys ready to go on a little walkabout in the house? The kids are home. I think they're watching SpongeBob out there. That's what I put on for them when we came in here. So I don't know what they're up to right this second. But the kids are home. They're off of school for this week because of Thanksgiving. We've got a lot of stuff we've got to do today.
Yes.
A lot of work we're going to do here on the house. And then also I got to start getting all of my things prepared for Thanksgiving. And we'll talk to you guys more about that as it gets closer. But for now, let's go on a field trip around the house and show them some things that were suggested, like a dehumidifier and, some vent fans and different things. So you ready?
Yes.
Let's go. So guys,
look at that.
This right here is a dehumidifier, and it's always pretty much running. And
always running.
Yeah, and it has its little tube right here that goes from it, and then it drains into our utility sink. So we do have a dehumidifier pretty much constantly running in this area.
Yes. We had to buy that because we're in a basement.
Yeah.
And the humidity, before we even did the insulation, before we even put up any of the walls, before we did any of that, I've noticed that the humidity levels in here were insane.
Yeah.
So I was like, babe, we have to bite the bullet and we have to go get a dehumidifier. This one is good for, I think it's a little over 1,000 square feet. I want to say it's 1,200 square feet roughly.
Yeah, so it's plenty big enough for our basement.
It's plenty big enough. That thing is running constantly. We were running at about like, I want to say it was like, what, 68, 70% humidity.
Oh, yeah.
When we first put this thing in, and then now it's a constant 35 in here, roughly 35, 40.
Yep.
So.
And then right here, guys, we have a vent fan in the laundry room. So that we turn that on often, pretty much daily, at least once a day, and kind of just blow some air out.
Yeah.
But that fan, we got that one to help circulate some air. And then over here in our bathroom, we also have another vent fan. So it goes right over the toilet. Boom. And that one we run whenever we're taking showers or anything like that. We run that one. You guys can see right here the pipes that Gary started insulating. Gary has been working on some of that, but as you guys can see, we didn't drop it all the way down yet in all the spaces. So we're working on it.
It's getting there.
It is getting there.
It's but yeah, we just got that little tiny bit that we've done right there. I've got to cover in some of these pipes, and the ones that are above a little bit, I've got the actual cutout. So where the joists are, where the foam isn't going to be there, I got the foam cut out, so it's at least going to be insulated no matter what. But
we need to get the little step ladder right here so you can poke your head up.
I need my
Flashlight?
Flashlight. It is dry up there. And in between the rock wool is dry. So we're not getting any vapor coming through from here. Now, I'm curious if it's doing the same thing up at the top as it did yesterday. All right. Let's go check out outside. It is a little chilly outside.
Sun's coming out though, warming everything up a little bit.
All right, let's see. Yep.
Oh yeah, you could see it.
The sun is drying it or heating it up a bit, but you can see the joists. So all that cold air up on the top and on the frosty mornings, we're getting a lot of water coming, or moisture. It likes to freeze itself.
Morning dew.
Huh?
Morning dew.
Morning dew.
Yeah.
So yay, there's that. And that's probably contributing to our moisture. And where the super cold is meeting the heat, that is where it's coming from. But you can see back there, it's not nearly that noticeable or wet as the sun is shining on that. Can you pick that up? I hope so. I can't tell if it's picking it up on the camera or not.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, it throws me off that you can see the joists and everything.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And where the water is really pulling and collecting and getting all that moisture is where the insulation is all the way up against the wood.
Yep. And all the spots where it's been dropped down, it's not nearly as noticeable at all. So.
No, you can't really see it at all. We got a little bit of water pooling up there that I can push off, but man.
Yeah.
Wood.
Yep. So we're going to continue working on this insulation condensation situation. To the best of our ability, we're going to keep plugging forward. So far, just bringing it down, having the vents on the side, and then having that paper is solving the problem.
Correct.
We still want to put in the fans in there, which we're probably going to do later on today.
Because I have to sort of put those in before I can continue on, because I want them in the middle. Right in the middle, have one blowing one way and the other one blowing the other, so we can get a good circulation going on both sides.
Yeah, and that'll help things even further.
Yep.
So, I mean, We're just doing what we can. We are looking into things even further, taking into consideration that this is going to be a floor and not a roof.
Correct.
And it's not having to be our roof for very long.
No.
We're talking a few months and we're going to start construction on the top
Yes.
portion. Because as soon as we're done with Gary's garage, the construction of the cabin is starting. So
No.
it's not going to be too long, guys. We just need to get it through this season. So if you guys have any comments for us, we appreciate it. If you guys have any advice, we do appreciate what you guys have to say. We do look into everything that you have to say.
Yes.
And we thank you guys for taking the time to watch our videos, to share your knowledge with us, and to be here supporting us. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Stay tuned for another episode of Simple Life Reclaimed coming up soon, and we will be back here on Real Talk with SLR tomorrow. So until the next one, guys, we love y'all. We hope you have a good one.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, you guys.
Later.